Hi, and welcome to the Handsell with Ron Hogan and Brian Kimberling, the author of Snapper, a novel which is also seems like a collection of linked stories in a way. And I'm really interested in these stories. I was not expecting to have to know trigonometry to read this novel.
I don't really know trigonometry either. I had to ask my dad for help with that. But it is true that when you're measuring nest heights, as the protagonist of Snapper does, and trying to recreate a model of a habitat, you need precise measurements, and you need to triangulate to figure out relationships between nests.
So the narrator of this story is, well, birdwatcher isn't really the right term because he's more scientific than that. He's doing this for research studies. So although there's a very strong birdwatching component to it, it seems like there's there's more technical aspects.
I was a research assistant for a major study of Indiana songbirds in the mid-90s.
Okay.
And I found nests for a living. And then I went back and checked on them every couple of days to see what was in them. Sometimes it was the right thing, and sometimes it was a parasitic bird. So I did all that, and I did measure, but I didn't actually do the trigonometry. I took measuring tape out of the forest and figured things out. I did it for 2 summers, whereas Nathan in the book has a career lasting about 8 years. So I took my own knowledge and embellished and embroidered and enhanced it.
And added a lot of family and friends drama to it as well.
Yes.
Especially in some very entertaining and in a lot of comic ways as well, I think. But also with an undercurrent of seriousness to them. So it covers the gamut, let's say.
I usually start out writing comically and then discover that there's something underneath the jokes that is not all that funny. And I think that comes out in the book. That Nathan, the protagonist, is relentlessly droll, but the world he lives in is a little bit malevolent and absurd. As far as the relationships and the other characters and so on, I borrowed a lot from other people's lives, and from my own.
I think that kind of droll malevolence might actually have some interesting resonance with some of the books that are on today's list. Now, the way that the Handsell works is that people send me lists of books that they have enjoyed reading, and then my guest stars and I come up with something that they might enjoy reading next. So we've gotten a list of books today from Darcy in Los Angeles, and the books that she has mentioned include Amelia Gray's Threats, Charles Dickens' Our Mutual Friend, Nicola Barker's Behindlings, Flannery O'Connor's Everything That Rises Must Converge, and V by Thomas Pynchon. And yeah, I think that there's that sort of sense, certainly in the O'Connor, it's that kind of like gothic aspects to it, but that kind of, I think, combination of dry narrative and absurd, somewhat malevolent world circumstance, like the way that the universe treats people, really comes through in some of these stories. And so I'm interested in what kind of story that you would recommend for Darcy to read next.
Victory Over Japan by Ellen Gilchrist. It's the combination of Dickens and O'Connor that suggests that to my mind. She's playful, but she's southern, and they are short stories.
That sounds like a really interesting read. I will have to look at that. I'm not familiar with it yet myself. The book that I came up with is, it's the first novel by Donald Ray Pollock, The Devil All the Time. It comes after his short story collection, Knock 'em Stiff, which is also a highly recommended read. The thing I loved about The Devil All the Time is that it's this sort of mashup between the gothicness of Flannery O'Connor ramped up with the kind of like really dark malevolence of, say, like a Jim Thompson. I mean, these are very violent, often sadistic characters in I almost want to say Baroque in a Midwestern sort of world. I mean, it's like, or expressionistic. I mean, the way that things are heightened in Pollock's stories and in this novel, it almost takes on an otherworldly quality, but at the same time there's a kind of realism to it.
I haven't read Devil All the Time. I did read Knock 'em Stiff, and the one note you're not striking there is it's also very funny. Mm-hmm. The first story begins with a father drinking whiskey out of a car ashtray and telling his son, "Don't drink out of the bottle, that'll make you a wino."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just that sort of like really dark humor to those stories too. I think that somebody who likes the kinds of authors that Darcy has mentioned here, I think Donald Ray Pollock is somebody who is really going to resonate with her if she has not experienced her already, and I think he's going to resonate with a lot of you as well. And I am definitely going to go looking for that Ellen Gilchrist collection, Victory Over Japan. So there are some interesting reads for you, Darcy, and I hope that many of you watching will check it out as well. Now, if you would like me to make a recommendation for you on the Handsell, all you have to do is go to thehandsell.com/ask, and you'll find a space where you can list 3 to 5 books that you've enjoyed. And when you send that to me, I will recruit an author like Brian, or perhaps an independent bookseller from a place like Word in Greenpoint, where we are today, and we will see what we can come up with for you. I'm Ron Hogan. This is Brian Kimberling, the author of Snapper, and you have been watching The Handsell. Thank you.